What's up, bro? Welcome back to another video. I stopped training for look. The reason I started lifting, like my reasons for training were actually vain. It was all out of vanity. I wanted to look good. I wanted people to compliment me. I wanted clothes to fit me better. I wanted to attract more women. I just wanted to get jacked for all the wrong reasons. That resulted in me being not even probably, bro. I was the most insecure guy out there, and on top of being insecure, I was also very undisciplined. Like, I wouldn't even say I was that disciplined in the gym. Okay, yes, because I had some sort of degree of discipline to actually achieve a somewhat 5, 6 out of 10 physique. It required some discipline, but I wasn't that disciplined. I was eating anything. I was doing whatever with my time. I didn't really respect myself. I didn't really respect others' time. I was just coasting through life, had no real purpose, had no drive, had no ambition outside of looking good. That really made me an insecure person. It made me an insecure person because I remember how easy it would be to push my buttons and to put me in a bad mood. And it was because I didn't have a real identity. I fixated my identity in how I looked and how people perceived me and completely neglected the inner work, which is why I ended up being that type of person. But as time went, I found Jesus Christ, got saved, I realized something. I actually realized something that a physique, yes, it's a good thing, but it's definitely not everything. Having a good physique is important. I think it's important as a man to exercise, to be physically capable, and to be strong. But it's that shift of, I am doing this for discipline. I'm doing this for my mental resilience. I'm doing this for purpose. I'm doing this to serve. I'm doing this to be able to protect and to be able to provide. It changes. That shift changes your perspective of training as opposed to just training to look good and be somewhat attractive. And it's really shifted how I've even seen myself and how my life has changed through having that sort of different outlook when it comes to physical training and going to the gym. Back then, I would only go to the gym when I felt like it. Only went to the gym when I felt like it. So I'd have phases too. I'd have phases where I'd train really hard, chasing this look. There was a certain size aesthetic that I'd chase. I'd train hard. I'd go hard at the gym. And then as soon as I'd get to that size again, back to old habits. Drinking alcohol, binge eating junk food, poor sleep, you can name it, all these bad things. But now it's gotten to a point where I train even when I don't want to, even when I don't feel like it. Which is pretty ironic now because I look even better than I did back then. I look even better than I did back then, but I care less about how I look now, but I care more about how the gym makes me feel and my mindsets and my discipline, which is the ironic part because how am I more jacked now than I was back then, but I care less now about how I look than I did back then. And that's why I didn't even have, compared to how I look now, I didn't have that good a physique. I didn't look that great because I only trained when I felt like it. I was eating anything. I wasn't really disciplined in like all the other aspects of my life now. But now I go to the gym when I don't feel like it. I'm following a program. I train. I don't care how I feel. If I'm supposed to train on that day, I train. Unless, obviously, life happens, family responsibilities, I get really busy or swamped. But even then, in situations like that, I'd rather train for like 20, 30 minutes than not train at all. But back then, if I didn't feel like going to the gym, I just wouldn't go to the gym. I just wouldn't train. I'll just screw about and waste my time doing other things. So once you start training for purpose, you start being a whole lot more intentional. it becomes intentional, and now you start having this inner confidence because now you're not doing it solely out of vanity. Don't get me wrong, it's good to, to look great and to have a good physique, but you shouldn't be so fixated on that. So you should fixate as a man of God. You should fixate, all your focus on getting closer to Him, being obedient to His word, your purpose, and serving. That's what we are put on this earth for, not just to look good and to flaunt our physique and to flaunt our muscles. So when you shift from just training to look good, and then you start training for discipline, you start training for resilience, you start training for purpose, that's how you become more confident. You can still have a decent physique and be insecure because you are training for the wrong reasons. You're only training to look good and to flex. But if you're training for purpose, if you're training for functionality, if you're training for discipline, then you become a more confident being. You become a more confident man. And this is another thing. People can tell, women can tell if you're a guy that is confident or a guy that is putting on a facade or putting on a mask. And for years, I was that type of guy that was putting on a facade and putting on a mask. I was the most insecure guy. Believe you me, I was so insecure. It took just a comment from someone to throw me off, whether it was about my financial situation, my physique. So, oh, there's another funny thing. So I'd have like periods where I'm training really hard. Remember when I said that? And then when I'd reach that goal, I'd relax. I'd relax for like even weeks, and then I'd get small. And then someone would be like, oh, you're looking small again. And then all of a sudden, I'm pushing hard again. So my productivity was based so much on external validation instead of principle, discipline. I think First Timothy, if I'm not mistaken, there's a verse that talks about godliness. That physical exercise profiteth little, but we should exercise godliness. And that's what training for discipline exercises. It exercises godliness. It exercises keeping your word. If you make a promise to yourself and you keep it, it also gives you that confidence. It also, funny enough, you feel closer to God. You feel like you're being obedient. I think once you start having that shift from training just to look good, but start training more for the character development, your mindset, and the type of man God wants you to be, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. We'll never get to the point where we're perfect or we've clocked it, but it's the progress that counts. And acknowledging, there's nothing more beautiful than acknowledging how much you've changed and how much, like how positively your life has changed and how much of a better person you were compared to yesterday. I'm by no means perfect, but I'm definitely better than I was some years ago. Hope this helped, man. I hope this really helped. And just that mindset shift, man, it can do so much for you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Till next time.